What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show. Me, Sean Sheehan, here on Sherdog.com. And today I'm looking ahead to PFL 10, the finals, the finals, which goes down on August 21st, 2025, over in Hollywood, Florida, in the United States. We have 3 championship belts up for grabs here. The middleweights, the light heavyweights, and the heavyweights. The big boys are in action here, and these are probably 3 of the most anticipated fights this year, I would say, in terms of what's already gone before it. Because I think they're all, they're all fairly tough to call. Based on a couple of different factors, obviously, which we will get into. But it's a good card overall. Like, apart from the 3 title fights, which we'll break down a lot here. Alexei Pergande, 6-0, is on the card against Ethan Goss. Lazaro Darion, who's very, 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 very impressive, 8-1 against equally impressive Bryce Meredith at 7-0. Very interesting fight between Impa Kasanganay and Andrew Sanchez as well, maybe to set up maybe getting back into the tournament next year, or a big number 1 contender fight or something like that. The undefeated Rasul Magomedov also on the card. Sergio Bilasini and Carl Williams. If anything was to happen to the heavyweights, one of them could definitely get in there. Then we've Murzad Ramazanov, obviously standout over the last few years. He's coming back against Joshua Silveria, and in JP San Luis and Taylor Ray as well. So a very good card from top to bottom, to be honest, and every PFL card this year has been amazing, so why think anything different of this one? But let's jump into straight away, and I'm going to start with the main event of Fabian Edwards versus Dalton Rasta. And I'll be honest, I feel like I have a saying, right, because I cover a lot of the up-and-coming fighters, whether it be, a lot of, obviously, the Irish fighters saying, like, Cage Warriors and Octagon and places like that, or even PFL Europe or PFL MENA and things. And I always use the phrase, let's have the best fighters fight the best fighters when they are the best fighters, right? And I feel like this is the perfect time for both of these guys. This is the perfect time for both of these guys to win the tournament, to become a champion. They've had their setbacks, they've bounced back, and now I'm like, look at Fabian Edwards. He's 32 years of age, he's 15-4. He's taken the knocks against Johnny Eblen. He lost a couple of contender fights against Costello Vancinis and Vanderford. He's won the big fights against the likes of Machida and Musasi. He's won the big fights this year against Kasanganay and Silveira, and he's there. It's his time. You look at Ross on the other side of it, he's 29 years old, 11-1, took that loss against Aaron Jeffrey, came back, beat him the last time, has beaten Sadibou C this year, beaten Norbert Navinia Jr., for me, one of the top prospects in the world. After coming through every single fight in his career has been with Bellator / the PFL. The both of them, I believe, undefeated as amateurs as well. This is perfect. This is exactly where they need to be. Like, if there was an edge maybe in experience, obviously Fabian Edwards had it, considering he's fought Musasi, Machida, Jeffrey as well, as Rasta has, Kasanganay and Silveira. Obviously Rasta's getting there, having fought Jeffrey and Norbert Navinia in his last 3 fights. But again, Fabian will put him on that path. Very, very interesting fight, because you have an interesting mix here of a guy like Dalton Rasta, who has fought guys like Sadibou C and Norbert Navinia especially, who are going to come out and want to strike against him. Like, most guys are going to want to come out and strike against him because he's such a good wrestler. Now, his striking is improved, but good as well. He's big, very big power right hand on him. He's knocked 4 people out in his career in only 11 wins to date. But we know how good he is, and we know what people want to do and to avoid him. The other side of it, for Fabian Edwards, a very, very good striker, and we know people are going to want to wrestle him. He's been in there and he's lost to wrestlers, but he's also won against wrestlers. He's also, like that Vanderford fight again, another one, he lost it, but he could absolutely have won it. There was times in the Johnny Eblen fights, I was at one of them, and I think Fabian Edwards won 2 rounds in the first Johnny Eblen fight, if I'm not mistaken. So there's definitely ways for Fabian Edwards to win. this just adds up brilliantly. I absolutely love this fight. I'd be very, very interested to see the betting lines when they come out here, and we'll talk more about it obviously on the betting show. But like, this is the type of fight I don't really like picking. This is the type of fight I don't really want to pick, because both guys, it feels like they've earned their crust. They're right here. This is their time. And it'll be brilliant for the guy who wins and devastating for the guy who loses. Now, both guys can come back and do it again, but like, I don't know if I sound like I'm just promoting this fight here now, but I really am hyped for this fight. I'm really, really looking forward to this fight. Again, for my official pick, maybe we'll wait for the betting show, but I don't know. After talking to Dalton Rasta a couple of weeks ago, now maybe if I talk to Fabian Edwards, I'd be feeling the other way. He just, again, like Alfie Davis, he kind of made me believe that Alfie, and then he goes out and does it. Dalton Rasta just made me believe a little bit, and I think this is a great fight as well, where Dalton, look, the game plan, I'm not saying it is easy, but it could be easy here. He needs to wrestle and wrestle and wrestle and wrestle. Now, not go out and shoot in the double from the very start, although that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but like, set it up, wrestle. Set it up, wrestle. I think if he does that, he will get enough takedowns. Maybe not necessarily to dominate this fight, but to win it. And maybe to dominate it, you never know. Fabian needs to do the opposite. He needs to stop the takedown. He needs to beat him to the punch, beat him on the feet, maybe even get a knockout. But it's a 50-50 fight for me. Just about lean Rasta, I think. But can't wait to see it. Absolutely cannot wait to see it. Let's talk about the light heavyweights. And Antonio Carlos Jr. against Sullivan Colley. Now, this is the opposite, maybe, to both guys getting right there. It feels like Shoeface is at a place where I thought at the start of the year in that Carl Moore fight, he didn't look amazing. And I remember thinking, like, maybe this is that, maybe this is the end for Shoeface. He'd lost his last fight to Alex Polizzi, but he came through the Carl Moore fight, split decision. Remember, it was kind of a weird, was it a low block? It was so long ago now, I can't remember. Then he came through against Simon Powell, fought very, very well there. So he's, is he back to his best? Maybe, after that performance. And then Sullivan Colley, even though he's 29 years of age, he's only 8-1 in his career. He lost to Luke Traynor in 2023, but he bounced back, has won twice this year. Alex Polizzi and Phil Davis. Had Phil Davis again, probably one of the shocks of the year. Not a lot of people expected out of him. And this fight, look, this fight is very interesting because we have fights like this a lot in the PFL, because we have guys, say, like Shoeface, like Clay Collard, like Brent Primus, who, these old is the wrong word, but like old heads in them, let's put it that way. Very smart guys who can catch you in something and, show you something you've never seen before. And that is the case here. Sullivan Colley has never fought someone like Cara de Zapato before. Never. Like, he's fought good guys. I just mentioned them there. Phil Davis. You could argue Phil Davis is a better fighter than Shoeface. You could absolutely argue that. But Shoeface is a very, very different guy. Like, he's won 12 fights out of 18 via submission. He's a guy who can catch you on the feet, but the fight goes to the ground and he will catch you there. Whereas Sullivan, to me, he's always a hard one to analyze, because sometimes I think he's a wrestler. I interviewed him as well a couple of weeks ago, and I said it to him, and like, I know as a young guy, he was a really, really highly touted wrestler in high school and in college and things like that, and he has wrestled in fights. But I'll be honest, like, I was reading through my notes, watching back the last fight against Phil Davis. A lot of the time it's he's striking, not just the Phil Davis fight. He has big shots on the feet. He has a lovely right hand. He has big power. So sometimes you're thinking, okay, a wrestler against Shoeface, that's going to be really, really, really tough on the wrestler, because they don't want to put the fight to the ground, because Shoeface is going to be able to take advantage of that. But he's well able to strike, well able to fight. And also, because his wrestling is so good, maybe he can open up more on the feet than, say, a guy like Simon Powell did, who might be, or Simeon Powell even, who might be worried about the takedown, who, definitely is worried about the takedown, and what Cara de Zapato can do on the ground. So, again, we'll wait till the odds come out to see the betting and all, but I think the pick here is Sullivan Colley. I'm going for Sullivan Colley. I think it might be his time. Again, He's 29 years of age, but 8-1. If this happened a year down the line, if he had another 4 fights, would I be more assured in my pick, let's say? I think I probably would be, but I give him a real chance. I think on the feet, he's going to be really, really good. 5 rounds again. Look, it might be an issue. He's only fought the decision once in his career. That was last time out, and he did win it, and he did look good. But every other single fight in his career was a first round. Won 7 of them, lost 1, and obviously won the 8th win of his career was via decision. So, very, very interesting fight. If Antonio Carlos Jr. can win this, it would be absolutely unbelievable after losing to Polizzi last year. In, I suppose, a somewhat of a shock, after picking up the title in 2022, wasn't it? And 21, if I'm not mistaken. Am I gone mad? No, he didn't win it in 22. He got injured, didn't he? Yeah, he got injured, but he did pick it up and won it in 2021 in the finals, beating Martin Hamlet. Yes, indeed. So, yeah, big fight. Would you be massively surprised if Antonio Carlos Jr. caught a submission or something like that? No, but I like Collie on the feet. I like his power, and I just think he's a good well-rounded fighter. And then we have the heavyweights. Alexander Romanov against Oleg Popov. Romanov obviously was involved in a no contest in his last fight where it was an accident in the knee. I reached out to his manager afterwards, I think the week after. This happened in June, and he told me he was, taking the hospital and stuff, but he's fine, he'll be able to fight, and indeed he is here. He is back now, ready, willing, and able to fight in this fight against Oleg Popov, a guy who, I'll be honest, I thought last year was going to win it. He got to the finals, he got in there against Denis Goltsov, and he got taken out very, very quickly, lost via submission in the first round. Bounced back this year, beat the aforementioned Carl Williams and Rodrigo Nascimento, both by decision. And, his last 4 wins in a row have all been by decision, which is very odd, I suppose, for a heavyweight. But, he's lots of knockouts in his record, too. He is a guy that can absolutely catch you. You look at the two of them, and I suppose they're not necessarily polar opposites, but, Romanov, great wrestler, single leg is very, very good, really good against the cage, kind of unusual type of fighter, southpaw. He can be taken down himself as well, though, and I just wonder with Popov, if that will be maybe something he will look at in this fight, because Romanov, and over 5 rounds, I think that might be something that will be part of this year. Like his last fight against Rodrigo Nascimento, he got a nice single leg, I believe, in the second round, got the fight to the ground, moved to the cage and really controlled him there. And then that in the next round opened up the strike, and he was able to land a big right hand and rock him. And, he's kind of lucky for that his opponent was able to survive. So the thinking and Popov to me is the pick here. Even though I like Romanov's wrestling, and look, we see what happened to Popov last year, but I feel like if Popov can threaten the takedown, get a takedown, it might open up the feet. It might open up what's going to happen on the feet, and that's a dangerous Oleg Popov for me. Who's going to last the better of the 5 rounds, though, is the thing, because you look, I was talking about Popov. He's gone to a decision 10 times, sorry. He's 9-1 in those decisions. So that's a pretty good record. Only 3-1 for Romanov. He's not used to going there. And I do think this will be a fight that goes longer. Romanov did Popov in his last 4 wins, last 2 fights went there. Romanov went to decision against Nascimento as well back in 2024, and then it was Ivanov back in 23 as well. So he's more used to them recently, but none of these lads have gone, the 4 to 5 rounds. Okay, it's a heavyweight fight. Will it go that long, I suppose, is the question you should be asking. But I think it will. This is not one where, if I'm picking the under over 2.5 rounds, I'm probably picking the over here, I think, in this one, which might be a little bit shocking to some people. But I feel like, again, Popov adds a takedown, opens up on the feet, lands a few shots. I think he can win this fight. Like, maybe by decision, maybe 3rd, 4th round finish. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to how this one kind of works itself out. Let's put it that way. So those are the 3 title fights. I'll just give you my quick picks for some of the other fights. I like Darian. I'm going to go for Darian over Meredith. I think for Impact Sanganai, and Andrew Sanchez, look, he always brings it. He's always game. But I think Kasanganai's been a very, very useful fighter for the PFL over the years. And I think him getting a win here, staying busy as always, he loves to stay busy, getting back at it for next year. I think he's a valuable player for the PFL. I like Sergio Bellastini against Carl Williams as well. I don't know, I just have a soft spot for Bellastini. I always think he's very, very good. And this Murzad Rabazana fight against Joshua Silveira, you know, if you were to ask me a year ago or a little bit longer, who would win this fight, you know, I think myself and most people in the MMA community will be picking Murad Ramazanov, and you know, I probably still am, but he's lost 3 in a row now, and it's probably a closer fight than it is. He needs this one to bounce back as well. I will pick him, but could be very, very close. All right, everyone, that is my preview for the PFL 10 card this week. Coming up on August 21st, which I believe is a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. Indeed, it is. Stay tuned to Sherdog.com for everything you need. My name is Sheehan, and I'll see you all next time.